I get it. The writing process can be incredibly overwhelming sometimes. Writer's block, overwhelm, and burnout are really common reasons that a book never gets to print. The longer you stay stalled out, the more tempted you're going to be to put the whole thing on the back burner, possibly forever. So in this video, we're going to talk about how to get unstuck quickly. And I've even included a free resource for you in the link below that will help you get started. So click on down and then keep watching this video. So the first big problem that people run into when they're trying to write a book that will just stall them right out and have them sort of put it on the back burner and say, oh, I'll get to it next week, or I'll get to it after Christmas, or whatever the excuse is writer's block. Now, writer's block is a real thing. It's something that people experience all the time. Maybe you've experienced it writing a book. Maybe you've experienced it writing emails or blog posts. It doesn't really matter. What happens is you're just sitting there staring at a screen and you just don't know what to say. Even if you've written, 20,000 words, it's the next thing. What do I say now? What's the next thing I need to do? Now, a lot of people say that writer's block happens because you don't know what to say and you're just searching for the words. I think that that's incorrect. I think more often people just have too much to say, especially in nonfiction books that are written by business people who are experts in their worlds. So if you're an expert, you've got a lot to say. In fact, you have too much. You have so many ideas running around in your brain, and you want to make sure that the reader gets all the information that they need to change their lives, and you just want to say it all. And the problem with that is that it all kind of gets log jammed in your brain because there's too much information that's trying to stream out your fingers and you can't type fast enough. One of the other reasons that things get log jammed is because you're not really sure what to say first or how to say it, or I really want to make sure that they get this point, but I think maybe it needs to go over there, and you're just like, and then you start and you're like, no, I got to say this other thing. And it's so incredibly frustrating. So the way that you get out of that is by having a strategic plan at the very beginning of your process. You've got to make sure that you know who is your audience, what is the goal for them, and what is the purpose for the book. Like, you've got to know, what are you trying to teach these people? And you also have to give yourself permission to not write every single thing you know about the subject just because it makes you look good. A lot of authors, especially business authors, get stuck in the fact that it's what I want to say. I want to share everything with this reader. And they forget about the fact that that reader doesn't know everything and they're going to be overwhelmed and inundated by too much information. You don't want to do that to those people. All you want to do is give them enough of your expertise to help them do something, help them reach a goal, help them solve a problem. Whatever it is that you're trying to get accomplished with this book, make it about the reader and not about you. Once you do that, those words will start to flow. If they don't, it means you need to go back to your outline and you need to start reworking it and using tools to make sure that everything is in the right order, everything is addressed, but not addressed too in-depth for that particular level of reader, so that you don't get stuck. So that you know, okay, I need to say this, and then I need to say this. Too many people jump right into the writing off of, a few bullet points that they put on a napkin, and they call that an outline. The outline actually takes longer than writing a first draft if you do it right sometimes. You just want to make sure that you've got everything in the right place, and you have everything labeled out, and you know exactly what you want to say. And when that's done, and you have that blueprint, then you can just write, and it's much, much faster. So that's how you get unstuck from writer's block. The next big problem that crops up in people's brains that keeps them stuck is imposter syndrome, or who am I to write a book? I don't know, I can't write a book, I'm not an author, I failed English class. There's like 15 books on my topic already, why would anybody read my book? Even if you are the foremost expert in the world on your topic, and you know your stuff, and you've been collecting millions of dollars from clients for 20 years, even people at super high levels in their businesses, they all still feel this way. Because of this psychological thing we have about books. Books are special and authors are special. And that's what we've been taught since we were very, very young. Who did we memorize in school? We memorized Shakespeare. We memorized authors who were meaningful throughout history. And so we are taught from a very young age that those authors are special, and it's really, really important to write a book. The other thing we're taught in school is that writing is hard. Like, even if you were really good at writing, you still got little red marks on your paper. I mean, raise your hand if you got an A+ in English class, but you still had freaking red marks on your paper. I can't stand that, because you're taught through those little corrections and those little notes and those little, like, oh, you forgot a comma here or there. You're taught that writing is supposed to be hard. And that's not the case. Writing is supposed to be a joy. It should be, a flow and an outpouring of information to someone who really needs it. But what you've learned in school is books are important, authors are special, and writing is hard. And so it's really easy to get stuck in that, who am I to write a book? I shouldn't write a book. Even if I'm an expert and I help millions of people, I shouldn't write a book, or it's hard to write a book. So the way that you get out of that is by realizing, number one, everybody feels this way. I don't know a single author that I've worked with who hasn't at some point in the process, maybe not at the beginning, but as they get closer and closer and closer to the end, they start second guessing everything. They're like, it's a book, it's permanent, I can't take it off the internet, right? It's gonna be out there in the world, and once it's there, So just realize, no matter who you are, at some point, those little thoughts are gonna creep in. Hopefully they're not gonna bother you too much. Hopefully they're gonna be like, yeah, I'm okay. I know what I'm doing. The second thing is to realize that there's always gonna be people who know more than you. There's always gonna be people who know less than you. So think about it, grade school. When you were in second grade, you didn't know as much as the fifth graders, but you knew a heck of a lot more than the kindergartners, right? So it's okay if you are at the level that you're at and you're writing a book to people who are below that level or who are suffering from a problem that you have overcome. You're helping them. If you keep your target audience in mind and your purpose in mind, and the fact that you are going to help these people no matter what, then suddenly, yes, you are the one to write this book. And you need to write this book, and you need to finish this book, and you need to get it published so that it's out in the world where it belongs. Not languishing on a hard drive for the next 40 years until you suddenly find it and go, oh man, I should have written that book. The third way that people get stuck and end up just pushing the project off in their mind or off on the calendar until later is burnout. And this happens when you've been writing and writing and writing and writing, and that can be years, it can be decades, it can also be just a matter of a couple of days. You can still feel burnout. It depends on your burnout threshold. But you just feel like, oh my God, I'm never gonna be done with this. I'm never gonna be done. I'm just going around in circles. I'm writing and rewriting the same section over and over and over again. This is called over-editing in the first draft stage, especially in the first draft stage. What happens is, and tell me if you've done this, right? You're typing along and you're like, oh, backspace, type along some more. No, that's not the right way to say that. Backspace. Oh, back up to the previous paragraph. Type some more. Oh, that's not good. Scrap the whole thing and start over. Chapter 1. And so you're just editing and over-editing and over-editing. And the fact is, there's a million ways to say the same damn thing. A million ways. And what you end up doing is, rather than improving what you're trying to say and improving the message, you're just messing with semantics. You're just changing around the words. Now, you're going to change around the words, and you're going to edit, and you're going to do that more in another stage. But the burnout generally happens at the beginning, when you're just constantly going around in circles and you don't feel like you're ever getting anywhere. You don't feel like you're ever going to finish this crazy book. And so it's really easy to go, I just don't have time right now, and put it aside. So the way you get out of that is you make a promise with yourself that you're not going to edit the first draft. You're just gonna write. And if you start a sentence with an and or a but or an or, that's okay. And if you want to write a sentence that's just one word, that's okay. And if you want to write a really long run-on sentence, that's okay. Don't be your English teacher. Lock her in a closet in your brain and forget about her. Just say what you want to say the way you would be saying it if you were talking to a friend over dinner. Because when you do that and you have a plan in the proper format, in an outline, you're going to be able to just go. And when you feel like you're making progress, you don't burn out. When you can see that word count going, oh, I wrote 5,000 words, I wrote 10,000 words, ooh, 13,000, oh, we're getting so close, right? When you get those word counts building up and you can see that you're crossing things off your outline and you're actually making progress, then that burnout turns into excitement and you start going, oh, I can write for 5 minutes, let's go, let's go. And that really helps to pull you along and pull you forward. So the last thing I really want to talk about is overwhelm. And overwhelm happens when you don't have that clear plan and that way to move forward all the way to the end of your book. It kind of goes along with burnout, but it just happens when you're just trying to write from your brain. A lot of people say, I was divinely inspired and it just downloaded and went right out my fingers. That's a load of crap. That doesn't happen for anybody. And I've had my own authors say that to me and I'm like, that's nice. I'm so glad you feel that way. Because the fact is that even if you feel divinely inspired and you feel like you're writing really, really well, if you're writing along and things are going smoothly and you're not feeling stuck and frustrated, then that means that you have a clear plan and you know what you want to say in your book, you know who you're writing to and what you want them to be able to do by the end of the book, and you're able to continually make progress so that you're not overwhelmed. You're chunking it down into little pieces and you're writing 1 or 2 or 3 pieces at a time, and then that's it. And you're crossing stuff off. If you're one of those people who likes to cross off to-do lists, right? Like, oh, I did that. Make a to-do list, cross it off. Yes, I did the first thing, that's awesome. And then you start writing the rest of your to-do list. If that's you, print out your outline and start crossing off every single section that you write. And the more detailed the outline is, the more things you have to cross off, and that gives your brain dopamine and you get all excited and you're like, yay, let's do another one. And here's the other thing, the more pieces you have in an outline, the longer your outline is. You're not overwhelming the reader with too much information, but you're getting super detailed with what you want to say, the faster you can write. Because you're like, 2 sentences covers that one, cross it off. A paragraph covers that one, cross it off. And you can just go and go and go and go. And it might seem when you're creating that outline, oh my God, I'm never going to finish this book. But it's a really clever tool to pull you forward. And it's like, come on, all you need to do is like 10 more minutes and you'll finish a whole nother section. And then you'll be like, all right, 10 more minutes, I can do it. And then you finish it up. And it's almost like a game. It can almost get addicting when you just start crossing things off. And you're like, okay, what's the next one? Okay, go. And you start writing that next little piece. And you don't need to write a whole chapter. When you just have like 5 bullet points on a napkin, you have to write 50 pages before you can cross anything off. So the smaller you can chunk things, the less overwhelmed you're going to be, because you're keeping moving forward. And that it builds up an excitement, and it really, really helps to draw you to that end of that book. And once you get to the end of your first draft, it's such a feeling of accomplishment and relief and joy, and you don't even want to think about all the other stuff that you've got to do, because it's just so cool when you're like, I have written a book and I didn't put it off, I didn't procrastinate, I didn't, write a few words and then put it away for a year. Instead, I wrote it and I put it out there, and it's awesome. Okay, first draft's probably not going to be awesome. In fact, it might just suck, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. The point is, you got it done. The truth is that writing a book is not an easy task. It can be simple, but it's not easy. It's a large goal that needs to be broken down into smaller goals, just like I said. That will minimize the overwhelm. And really, you shouldn't have to do it alone. Really, you could do it alone, but why would you want to? So I've included a link to my services that include professional consulting and manuscript evaluation below. I've also included a free copy of my book that you can grab, The Profitable Business Author, so you can get it done, so you can learn how to use these tools and actually get your message out into the world. If you're serious about writing the book that you know is inside of you, click on some of those links below.